marriage. 100 guests. Parents present. Cake ready. But the gift inside that frame changed everything. My wife smiled at me that morning, but later that night, I watched a video that destroyed my marriage. And the worst part, I didn't confront her, I invited 100 people instead. Mourning in Lagos never truly begins, it explodes into life, Danfo buses screaming for passengers, conductors hanging from doors, shouting destinations like war chants, Oberland. CMS. Lekki. Aja. Generators coughing awake, street vendors announcing their presence like they owned the air, hot bread. Akara. Fresh Akara. Life was loud, but inside Tun Balagan's house in Lekki, something was quiet, too quiet. Tun sat alone at the dining table, a cup of black coffee in front of him, untouched. His eyes weren't on the cup, they were on the tiles, like he was searching for something hidden beneath them. Tun didn't wake up one day and suspect his wife, no, it started small. Almost invisible, the way she turned her phone slightly away when he entered, the way her smile faded too quickly when he asked simple questions, the way she said, "I'm tired. I just want to sleep." But stayed awake, typing, little things, but little things become patterns. Inner thought, patterns don't lie, people do. That night, Tun didn't sleep, he lay beside her, eyes open, listening, to her breathing, to the silence, to his thoughts. He wasn't angry, that was the strange part, he was thinking, observing, connecting. Inner thought, if something is wrong, emotion will blind me. But calm will reveal everything. That was the moment he made a decision. Not to confront, not to accuse, but to watch. The next day, his phone rang, it was Mareo Balagan, his younger sister. Mareo didn't waste time, "Big bro, something is off." Tun smiled slightly, "Off how?" "You." Silence, "You've been too calm." Tun leaned back in his chair, "Calm is growth." Mareo didn't laugh, "No, this one is not growth. This one is preparation." That word stayed with him. That evening, Tun watched Saad differently, not as a husband, but as an observer. Every movement became data, every word, a signal. Saad walked into the kitchen, "Are you okay?" Tun smiled, "I'm perfect." And that was the truth, because now, he wasn't confused anymore, he was watching. Later that night, Saada's phone buzzed, she picked it up instantly, too fast, she stood up. Walked away, answered softly, almost whispering. Tun didn't follow, he didn't move. Inner thought, if I chase, I lose control. If I wait, truth will come to me. And for the first time, he felt something dangerous, not anger, control. That afternoon, Tun stopped at a small electronics store, quiet place, no questions asked. He bought 2 items, small, almost invisible, hidden cameras. The seller looked at him, "You want something serious?" Tun smiled, "I already have something serious." That night, Tun stood in the living room, holding the camera, looking around the house. This house, their house, was about to reveal the truth. He placed the camera carefully, stepped back, and whispered, "Let's see what love looks like when nobody is watching." Tun did not rush, that was the difference between him and most men. Most men react. Tun observed. For 2 days, nothing happened. Normal routines, morning greetings, short conversations. Saad moved around the house like everything was fine, and that was what made it worse, because when something is broken, and it still looks perfect, that means the damage is hidden. Tun went to work, came back, ate dinner, and spoke like a loving husband. But inside, something had changed. He was no longer living in the house, he was studying it. Inner thought, truth doesn't rush. It waits for the right moment. Wednesday came quietly. Tun left for a site inspection in Aja early in the morning. The sun was already harsh, bouncing off unfinished buildings and dusty roads. Workers shouted instructions, cement mixed, life moved forward, but halfway through the inspection, something pulled at his mind, his charger. He had forgotten it, a small thing, but small things change everything. He didn't call Saad, he didn't announce his return, he simply entered his car, and drove back. As Tund opened the gate slowly, something stopped him. Laughter, not just laughter, a man's laughter. Inside his house, he froze. The world outside was still loud, cars passing, people talking, but inside that compound, that laughter became the only sound that mattered. It was comfortable. Familiar, intimate. Tund didn't move immediately. Inner thought, don't react. Not yet. He walked toward the door slowly, each step controlled, each breath measured. He opened the door quietly. The living room. Saad was there, and she was not alone. A man sat beside her, close, too close. Their bodies leaned into each other like they had done it many times before. She laughed again, the same laughter from upstairs, but this time, Tund understood it. It wasn't innocent.
If you love powerful African stories like this, subscribe to this channel for more shocking stories every week.
For a brief second, time slowed, not dramatic, not loud, just clear. Tund stepped back silently, closed the door gently, and walked away. In his car, Tund sat still, no shaking, no anger, no shouting, just silence. Most people expect pain to explode, but sometimes, pain freezes. Inner thought, so it's true. He leaned his head back against the seat, closed his eyes, and exhaled slowly. That was the moment everything inside him rearranged, not into rage, but into strategy. Tund did not go back inside, he did not confront them, he did not call Saad. Instead, he drove away, calmly, like nothing had happened, because in his mind, something bigger had just begun. Inner thought, if I confront now, I lose control. Pause, but if I wait, a slow breath, I control the ending. That night, Tund sat alone in his car again, laptop open, the hidden camera footage playing. This time, he watched everything, from the beginning. Saad opening the door, smiling, that same smile she gave him, but different, warmer, freer. The man stepped in, they hugged, not a quick hug, a long one, the kind that tells a story without words. Tund didn't pause the video, he watched it all, every movement, every whisper, every lie that had been hidden behind normal days. Inner thought, now I see you clearly. Somewhere in the middle of the footage, Saad rested her head on the man's shoulder. That was the moment most men would break, but Tund didn't. Instead, he leaned closer to the screen, studying, learning, memorizing, because pain had already done its job. Now it was time for something else, control. By the time the video ended, Tund was no longer the same man who installed those cameras. Something had shifted. He wasn't confused anymore, he wasn't guessing, he knew, and knowledge changes everything. He closed the laptop slowly, looked ahead into the darkness, and smiled, not out of happiness, but clarity. The next morning, Tund walked into the bedroom. Saad was getting ready, soft music playing, everything looked normal again, like nothing had happened. He walked up to her, gently kissed her forehead, and smiled. Your birthday is coming. She smiled back, yes. Tund looked into her eyes, calm, steady. I'm planning something special. She laughed lightly. How special? Tund's smile deepened slightly, the kind you'll never forget. And as he walked out of the room, his mind was already building it, not a confrontation, not a fight, a stage, where truth would speak for itself. He has seen everything, he has confirmed the betrayal, but instead of reacting, he is planning something bigger, something public, something unforgettable. The next morning felt different, not because anything had changed outside, but because everything had changed inside Tund. He woke up before Saad, prepared breakfast, set the table, even arranged the cutlery the way she liked. When she came downstairs, she paused, surprised. Tund, you made breakfast? Tund smiled softly. Why not? She studied his face, like she was trying to understand something, but there was nothing to read, because Tund had learned something important. When you feel nothing, you reveal nothing. For the next few days, Tund became perfect, not just good, perfect. Flowers arrived for Saad every morning, fresh ones, different colors, different notes, thinking of you. You deserve the best. I'm grateful for you. Saad noticed, anyone would, one evening, she couldn't hold it in anymore. "You're different," she said carefully. Tund looked up from his phone. "Different how?" She hesitated. "Better." Tund smiled. "Maybe I'm just learning." That night, as they lay in bed, Saad spoke again. "You weren't always like this." Tund turned slightly toward her. "People change." She looked at him in the dim light. "Why now?" There was a pause, just long enough to feel real. Tund's voice dropped slightly. "Because I almost lost you." That line hit her hard, because guilt always reacts to kindness faster than anger. She moved closer to him, rested her head on his chest, and for the first time in weeks, she stayed, but Tund didn't move, he just stared into the darkness. 2 days later, Mario Balogun visited. She didn't even sit down before she spoke. "Big bro, what is going on?" Tund acted confused. "What do you mean?" Mario folded her arms. "You are doing too much." Saad laughed from the kitchen. "I told you. He has changed." Mario didn't laugh. Her eyes stayed on Tund, sharp, searching. "This isn't change," she said quietly. "This is preparation." Tund smiled, that same calm smile. "You think too much." But Mario didn't respond, because deep down, she knew something was coming. That evening, Tund sat alone with his laptop, scrolling, typing, planning. One by one, he began sending invitations. Sada's parents in Ibadan. His own parents in Suralere, her friends, her colleagues, gym partners, neighbors, everyone. The message was simple: join us to celebrate Sada's birthday. It will be special. But Tund knew, it would be more than special, it would be unforgettable. 2 days later, Tund stood inside a hall in Victoria Island, empty, quiet, waiting. He walked slowly across the space, visualizing everything: lights, chairs, people, reactions. The event planner spoke excitedly. "We'll decorate with fairy lights, soft gold theme, very elegant." Tund nodded. "Good. And the gift presentation?" Tund paused slightly, then said, "That will be the main event." Later that night, Tund sat in his study, laptop open again, the footage playing, but this time, he wasn't watching it for pain, he was editing. Cutting, arranging, freezing key moments, the hug, the laughter, the closeness. He selected one image, clear, undeniable. He stared at it for a long moment, then nodded to himself. "This is enough." The next day, Tund visited a printing studio, quiet place, professional. He handed over the image. The attendant looked at it briefly, then back at Tund. "You want this framed?" Tund nodded. "Big." "How big?" Tund's voice was calm, "Big enough that nobody can pretend they didn't see it." Back at home, life continued like a normal movie: morning coffee, casual conversations, soft laughter, Saad scrolling through her phone again, Tund watching quietly. But now, every normal moment felt like a countdown, because Tund knew something Saad didn't. Time was running out. Inner thought: truth is patient. But when it speaks, it ends everything. The night before the birthday party, Saad stood in front of the mirror, trying on her dress, silver, elegant, perfect. She turned to Tund. "How do I look?" Tund smiled. "You look unforgettable." She laughed. "You keep saying that." Tund stepped closer, adjusted her shoulder slightly, then looked into her eyes, and for a brief moment, there was silence, heavy silence, the kind that carries hidden meaning. Then he said softly, "Tomorrow, everyone will see you." Saad smiled, thinking it was love, but Tund already knew, it was truth. The hall is ready, the guests are invited, the gift is prepared. Tomorrow, everything explodes, but not with shouting, with truth. Evening settled over Victoria Island like a soft golden curtain. The city lights flickered on one after another, cars lined up outside the event hall, music drifted into the night. Inside, everything was perfect: golden decorations, soft fairy lights hanging like stars, round tables dressed in white and gold. A cake stood at the center, tall, elegant, waiting. Guests began to arrive, laughter, greetings, perfume in the air. Phones already recording moments, because in Lagos, every celebration is content, and tonight, nobody knew they were walking into history. Saad entered the hall slowly, and the room reacted instantly. Heads turned, whispers followed. She was stunning. Her silver dress shimmered under the lights, her hair framed her face perfectly, confidence in every step. People rushed to greet her. Happy birthday. You look amazing. See beauty. She smiled, laughed, hugged everyone, and across the room, Tund watched, calm, composed, like a man who had already finished what everyone else was just beginning. Her parents sat proudly, his parents exchanged polite smiles, friends filled the room, even Mario Balogun stood quietly at the back, watching, not celebrating, watching. Her eyes kept moving between Tund and Saad. Something about the atmosphere felt too perfect, too arranged. Mario whispered to herself. This is not just a party. Music played, food was served, drinks flowed, laughter filled every corner. Saad moved from table to table, enjoying the attention, living the moment. Tund followed the program, spoke when necessary, smiled when required. If anyone looked closely, they would notice something strange. Tund wasn't reacting to the moment. He was waiting for it. The MC stepped forward, full of energy, voice loud, ladies and gentlemen. The room responded instantly, cheers, claps, attention focused. We are here to celebrate a beautiful woman. More cheers, and now. He paused, smiled, raised his hand dramatically, the moment we have all been waiting for. The room quieted slightly, anticipation rising, the special birthday gift. From her loving husband. Applause filled the hall, phones lifted, cameras ready. Two assistants walked in slowly, carrying a large, beautifully wrapped frame, gold paper, neatly tied ribbon, elegant, mysterious. Saad covered her mouth slightly, excited. Oh my God. Tund. She laughed, turning to her friends. This must be my beach photo shoot. The room chuckled, everyone leaned in. Tund stepped forward, calm, unshaken. He looked at her, and said one simple thing, open it. Saad pulled the ribbon playfully, tore the wrapping paper, still smiling, still excited. Then, the frame appeared, and everything stopped. The image, clear, sharp, undeniable. Saad, in another man's arms, close, intimate, real. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable, unavoidable. Gasps, whispers, phones froze midair. Someone dropped a glass. The sound echoed louder than it should. Saad didn't move. Her hand stayed on the frame. Her smile disappeared slowly. Like something fading from existence, her eyes scanned the image again. As if it might change, as if it wasn't real. But truth doesn't change. Across the room, people began stepping back, creating space, distance, judgment. Tund stepped closer, not aggressive, not loud, just present. His voice was calm, almost gentle. I didn't want to fight. Silence deepened. I didn't want to argue. People listened. I just wanted the truth. A pause. He looked around the room. To attend your birthday. That line landed heavier than any shout. Mario closed her eyes briefly. Now she understood everything. Tund didn't wait, didn't argue, didn't explain further. He turned, and walked away. No shouting, no chaos from him, only silence behind him. Behind him, the party collapsed, voices rose, confusion spread. Saad stood frozen, alone, in front of everyone. Outside, the Lagos night continued like nothing had happened. Cars passed, music played in distant buildings. Life moved on. Tund stepped into the night air, breathed in slowly. Inner thought, some battles are not won by fighting, but by letting truth speak. He walked forward, without looking back. No violence, no revenge, no shouting, just truth, in the right place, at the right time. As Tund walked into the night, his phone buzzed. Unknown number, message, you exposed her. But you don't know who I am. He stopped walking, slowly looked at the screen. And for the first time that night, something unexpected appeared on his face.